Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I am your host, Peter, and on today's episode, me and Pat will be discussing and reviewing the spring 2021 anime season. Pat, thank you for joining me. How's it going? What are your 4th of July plans? What's going on with your
Hello,
life?
hello. I was about to say happy Fourth, a little early, but not much. Yeah, I'm going to see a soccer game today. Gonna go get plastered and shout at people and just have fun. Just the usual. Outside of that, not much planned this weekend. Just been binging a lot of shows. Been catching up on all those seasonals. What about you? I think you have something you're doing.
Yeah, I got some good plans. We are recording on a Saturday instead of a Monday for a reason because I finally get to go on vacation for the first time in a year and a half, and I'm leaving for Vegas, baby. So I will be heading out tomorrow for Vegas for 4 days and 3 nights at the lovely Paris estate. Can't wait. But before we go, I wanted to talk anime because it's my favorite thing in the world. You know that. And I thought this season was really good. I didn't expect this season to be as good as it was, considering how insane winter 2021 was. Usually winter's like the best season of the year, and it usually follows it up with nothing that's like comparable normally. And I thought this season is easily comparable to winter 2021, which in my opinion was the best season of anime of all time. And I would argue that spring 2021 is probably like a top 5 season of all time based off of how I scored it. Other people may be differently, but I was a huge fan of this season. Lots of high rankings. So spoiler alert, I will say a lot of nice things about a lot of shows. There are a few shows that I'm not going to say some nice things about, especially one that's really, really hype right now where I don't get it at all, but I'll save it for when we get to that show. But I do want to say, like, going forward, we will be talking spoilers for the shows. So, if you do not want to hear spoilers on a specific show, in the descriptions below, there'll be timestamps for each show that we are reviewing, and that way you can just skip to that. And normally when I watch like 20 shows in a season, I would do 2 episodes, but just because of how scheduling is like right now with like the 4th and just like the time crunch of work and Pat's schedule and everyone else's schedule, we're doing this all in one episode. So I'm gonna be doing a speed round on shows that probably deserve like 5 minutes of talking. So I'm sorry if your favorite show gets relegated to the speed round, but unfortunately,
Just means you have bad taste.
it's just I had to pick and choose, and
Yep.
I didn't want this episode to be 4 hours long because it's Saturday and we got things to do. And I did think that we will talk about the shows that need to be talked about. I'll put it that way. So
Yeah. Well, the most important show of the season is the first show we're talking about.
Yep.
It's the only one that deserves this whole anime of the season or anime of the year title.
And what show is that, Pat?
That is Zombieland Saga Revenge.
Saga.
Saga.
Man,
Oh
this
my
show
God.
was great.
What was this show? Holy. Are we 2 minutes in? Can I swear yet? Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you can
Holy
swear.
fuck! Holy fuck! This show was incredible. Like, I have not been this captivated and this like just blown away by a show that I have watched since 2018, Violet Evergarden. Like, that is the last time that I was this just like awestruck while watching this show. And man, I cannot speak highly enough about this show. Everything that happens in this show, literally everything that happened, not only in this season too, but in the first season from, who would have guessed, 2018. Everything that happened in this show culminates at the very end in the final episode into a perfect story. I don't know where to start. I genuinely don't know where to start when talking about.
Well, let's start with the beginning. I thought that they did a really a really smart way of how do we make more content for this? And it's like, how about we have this failed performance where we rent out a stadium for 30,000 people and we get 500, and now we're like 40 billion yen in debt.
Yeah.
And so it starts this brand new like scenario of them not even being idols, but them just working to like support them trying to be idols. I guess I'll put it that way. I thought it was
having regular jobs.
Regular jobs. I thought the first episode was genius. You see like the characters working at like fish markets and factories and being bartenders and all this stuff.
Yugiri, of course, the courtesan being a bar. Again, everything is done purposely, right? So Yugiri is a courtesan. She's a male entertainer from the Meiji era, right? So she would obviously be talented at something like bartending, which is essentially modern day like courtesanship, or it's very similar.
Or like a hostess, I guess, in like Japan.
Maybe a hostess more is a better term than a bartender. Although she basically was a bartender.
She was basically a bartender, yeah.
But that's the idea, is that she has the skills for that job, right? Like the Showa idol is, I believe, works at the what do you call it? The fucking the dolls, right? Or no, that was so but they all work in things that actually end up helping them by the end of the show, whether that's with the masks, they are painting those dolls or whatever. They use those masks in, I think it's episode 11, when they're trying to entertain the kids and protect their faces because they don't want to reveal that they're zombies or whatever. It's so clever. Oh, surprise, I knew it was gonna happen, but it's like, it's perfect. Oh, surprise, we tried to scare you guys with zombie makeup. It's like, that's so clever, on the spot thinking by their idol, or by one of the idols, to be like, oh yeah, no, we're not actually zombies. We put this makeup on to scare you guys, and that tricks the kids, that tricks the parents. Everyone just isn't shocked anymore. Like, it's so, oh my god, and of course in the final episode, literally everything they've done. The chicken advertisement shows back up in the
pharmaceutical
company that sponsors them, and that's of course, big pharma, a ton of money. That makes sense that they'd sponsor a charity thing. Like, this whole like the typhoon just ruins everything, but then the whole point is that it's Saga, which is this beat up, torn down prefecture in the show. At least it's like it's implied that it's like it's struggling to survive. It is really losing its identity, comes together and culminates in this one moment where not only does Saga help out, but then other parts of Japan, the pharmaceutical companies, the world, or whatever, the attention of the world that they've culminated by becoming idols, is all done in this one concert. It's all brought together to unite the community of Saga. It's just like this. I sat there last night watching the show, or finishing the final few episodes, and I was just like, I've never gone into, I think, a final episode of a show other than Violet Evergarden and been like, wow, this show is a 10 out of 10. I don't know how they could screw this up. And then have them not only not screw it up, but make me want to give it an 11 before, it is insane.
Yeah.
I was sitting there though. I was like, man, there has to be something that I'm missing. There has to be something like critically that I'm sitting here and ignoring. Well, the animation, no, the animation is stunning. Even the 3D stuff that they do doesn't look that bad. It really doesn't.
No, it's fine, and it's on purpose.
And yeah, it's somewhat on purpose. I think that bit was really big in the first season. In the second season, I think it's more just because like other idol anime have shown, you literally cannot expect them to animate 7 girls moving around or whatever, right? Or an entire crowd moving around and waving their joysticks, whatever.
Their joysticks. They're all playing Smash in the crowd, yeah.
Or they're playing with their Wiimotes, whatever.
Yeah, their Wiimotes.
Or their air traffic control sticks, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can't expect them to animate that. But even though it was CGI, it didn't stand out that well. It was really sharp, I thought. I mean, the crowd was CGI, very obviously CGI. But like the girls moving around, yeah, you could tell it was like rotoscoped or whatever you want to call it. But like, I don't know animation that well, but that's my understanding of it at least. So I'm probably way off with this. But like, you could tell that they went in and sharpened the girls' faces up or made them not look as robotic with their movements. Like, it was really, really well done. And I'm not even an idol guy either. I hate idol anime. I've never seen any other real idol anime that
You hate it, but you haven't seen it?
No, I'm saying I've never seen one that I've been like, oh wow, I like watching this. Like,
Love Live is great.
I've watched
D4DJ is great.
K-On! I was just like, nah.
K-On's not an idol anime. Come on. It literally means light music club in Japanese.
Listen,
This guy.
I don't care. Can you tell I'm a casual? But I'm rating this is like probably a top 5 anime for me all time now.
That's
like,
awesome.
Genuinely, like this is insane to me, that a show that, again, I loved it when it first came out in 2018. which by the way, fall 2018, that's #1 anime season.
That's a very good season. That is a very good season.
That's #1, and I think, like you said, 2018 winter, where there's Violet Evergarden, A Place Further Than the Universe, and a couple other shows. It's like that may also be the second best season. I don't know.
That's also really good.
I'm biased.
Hey, 2018 did really well in our tournament, so
yeah, it did. I wonder who pushed that narrative. Yeah, who could have done that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we have to go back and watch those episodes to find out.
Yeah, you'll never know. You'll never know what guy pushed that season. But yeah, so like this show was on top of my mind. I was just like, oh, this is great. But I wasn't also like ranting and raving about it like I am now. But when the second season got announced, I started to get hyped up, and I was like, wow, I actually missed this show, and I can't wait to see more of it. Like, it's just stupid fun. It doesn't mean anything. It's not serious. But then the second season comes out, and it's like, oh, the second episode. I'm crying right now. Why am I crying? I feel bad.
I'm a grown man, and I'm crying.
I'm crying. Well, no, yeah, like I'm crying because, oh man, they're really emotional because they're realizing, wow, we're never going to get old. We are zombies now. For one, we're already dead.
Yep.
That's really sad. But then also, we're never going to get to experience love. We're never going to get to experience things that, like growing old. We never get to do that. And we just witnessed someone who was doing that with the what's his name? The guy with the big hair.
Yep.
It's like, oh, we just saw that. He's lived a full life. We're never going to get to do that. And it's like they start crying and it's really sad. And then Sakura cries too hard. So because she's a zombie and doesn't have like a functioning body, her face dries up because it runs out of water or tears. It's just so clever. It's like the fact that they are zombies is constantly referenced and used throughout the plot to make it so that the story can actually work. But it's not done in an obnoxious like a way where it doesn't like make sense. You know what I mean? Like, cause like obviously it's like, oh, surprise! There's this old guy that has magic powers, and that's it. Like that's all we know at least at this point. In season 2, that's all we know. But even then, I don't care for some reason. Like normally, I'm very annoyed when it's like, oh well, why is this thing not explained? In this case, it doesn't feel like it needs to be explained. It's just like, oh yeah, they're zombies. There you go. And then it was on. But it makes sense because of what we know about zombies and what we know about like what they're experiencing and what they're going through in their lives. Again, it's just so I'm talking so much about this. But
I mean, I knew that you love this show, so I wanted you to get your emotions out so you can express it because. In Discord, you were very just like, oh my god, watch this, whatever. Yeah. And so I knew that you had this. For me, a couple things that I really enjoyed about this season, the change in like how they did like music was a little cool. Lily's scat song was amazing. I did not expect them to incorporate scat into like the idol. And then they also did like comedy songs. So there's like the episode where like Tay is doing like errands and they like make a song about her doing like going to the grocery store and picking up ingredients.
And it was so good.
And, like,
it was good.
I think they did that twice. I forgot the other episode that they did it in, but they add like these like incorporated like songs into their like activities, and I thought that was like really well done. It wasn't just about like the idol performance. It was about like the whole, just whatever's going on in their life, we're gonna make a song about it. So I thought that was really interesting.
And like every song that they sang in their performances was either relevant to what their lives were before they died, or what they were going through now. Like, which of course I'm sure most idol anime, like it's not like the lyrics are meaningless, right? Like there's always meaning to song lyrics. I would hope in most idol anime. I don't know. And like so in like Love Live, I'm sure they sing about. And growing up as a young idol, I don't know.
Kinda, yeah. I guess.
Or is it just generic?
It's pretty. It's a lot of times it's pretty generic, but still, Halation is still the best idol song ever created, so that'll never be topped.
Irrelevant, but
it's not irrelevant. Don't you ever diss Snow Halation.
It's irrelevant to me. It's irrelevant to me right now. Maybe someday when I go back to Love Live, it won't be. But yeah, so like these songs that they sing. every single song that they sing is like, for one, it's pretty well written. It's easy to understand. Shout out to the subtitlers, by the way, for being able to translate these into like functional songs too, rather than just being like literal translations.
Word for word,
like, no,
yeah.
like they made them work. They made them work, which is really not an easy thing. So I gotta shout them out. But like every single time their song had a purpose behind it, or they were saying like, even if we're dead or even if we die, we've still got to do this, or we've got to fight on. Like it's like all these things that like normally would be like, oh, that's just a good song because it's dramatic, it's whatever. Like, yeah, oh, my love for you's undying. It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's, and like, so obviously like, yeah, that's normally a hyperbole,
Yep.
but in this case it's not, because why?
It's literal.
Because they're zombies, and it's literal that their love or their efforts for Saga are undying, whatever. Like, again, it's just like, it's so clever. It is so clever. There is every single thing that happens, every song, every instance of them meeting someone in the community that you think is just going to be a one-off character, or it's just a character from their backstory. They all are relevant and all come back at the end in the final episode. Like, oh my god, I'm just fuck, man. This show is insane.
Did your best girl change from season 1 to season 2 at all?
Nope. Well, it only got reinforced actually, because anyone who's listened to me rant about this show knows, and knows me as well, knows I love history, and Yugiri getting 2 episodes of her being the spotlight, that was so cool to see them go back in time. I always wondered too, like, because her zombie has the neck scar on it. I knew right away in season 1. I was like, oh, she's from the Meiji era, like she's like a courtesan. She definitely got executed by beheading or whatever. Like, there's no way that's not what happened to her. And then sure enough, we finally get the backstory for that.
Yep.
Which, those 2 episodes were awesome. That felt like, to me, when I was watching those 2 episodes, it felt like the Kiritsugu backstory in Fate Zero. You know what I mean? Like, where it was just like, wow, this random like backstory set of 1 or 2 episodes could practically be its own anime series. And it kind of was for that portion of the season of Zombieland, right? Where it was just like, oh, episodes 9 and 10, yeah, that's Yugiri's backstory, which of course tied in. Oh, it was funny seeing all the other girls get tied into the story. Like they weren't actually in the times, but they were characters.
Yeah, they're characters.
Yeah, like, you saw Saki carrying Lily in like a backpack or whatever. Like, and it was just like, oh, haha, like there they are. But no, they and like Sato, or what's his name, Kotaro. Sorry, Kotaro was essentially the same guy as the grandson or whatever, the guy who's just like trying to rally the people, trying to rally Saga into becoming Saga.
Yeah,
again, right? Like,
he's like the same character, but like in a different era and a different way of uniting Saga.
Right, and oh my god. Well, Yugiri though just carried that story though. She's awesome. She still has that little gift that he gave her of the comb. She still uses that. Like, and she used it. I went back and looked. She uses it in the first season too. They just don't mention it. It's just there. Yeah.
Ooh, little Easter egg.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Everything was thought out beforehand. It's incredible.
It's really good.
Excuse me. I don't know. I loved their character designs are incredible. Their outfits are awesome. Like, I'm not even usually one that rants about stuff like that, but it was captivating. Fucking the legendary Tai Yamada.
That's my best girl. For doing, I'll give her for my 3 favorite reasons. 1, she can't really like express like emotions well. She can just essentially scream. But I really like it when she expresses happiness. She just like chews on people's heads. I think that's hilarious. When she got her own episode of her just doing errands, I thought that was incredible. It was so funny.
She accidentally solves their debt problem.
Yes.
She was completely accidental. She's like, oh, I'm breakdancing, whatever.
Yep.
And then, oh, here's your prize money. It's the exact amount of money that you need to pay off your debts. Oh, perfect. There we go. And also to pay off your errands.
Love that. And then the Freddie Mercury scene at the stadium.
1986 Wembley.
If you don't know that reference, you should look up Queen at Wembley in 1986, right before he does Under Pressure. It's So good. It was such an incredible like throwback reference. I was like, they're incorporating Queen into this anime. I'm like, yo, like, let's fucking go. And I love how like Tay seemed like so just like excited and like by the randomness. She's just like, ah, and then they do it back. She's like, oh, I'm gonna keep doing this. And I don't know. I just love her character because like the show itself is like quirky and silly. There's some like really cool like big brain moments as well. But I do like the fact that Tay can kind of bring it back to earth with just like her silliness. I was a big fan of her. All the cast is incredible. Like, let's be real. Like, there's no bad characters in Zombieland Saga. They're all fantastic. If someone said X was your favorite girl, I'd be like, I could totally see that. Like, that's like the beauty of like having a great cast is you can resonate to so many different people in different ways. So I was a huge fan. But Pat, we've been ranting for 20 minutes about Zombieland Saga. Maybe not enough, but how about give me your final thoughts and your rating on Zombieland Saga?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, so I guess my final thoughts, I don't know what I haven't said yet, to be honest, because again, it's been just a blur. 20 minutes went by like that, but I don't know, man. The final scene, the little hint at...
Oh, we didn't even talk about the aliens!
Like, yeah, what we assume are aliens.
I would assume they're aliens. It's like Independence Day.
Yeah, it's like, all right, that happened, and I was just like, oh, okay. You know, I didn't love it, but I also didn't hate it either. Like, I was just like, all right, that's cool. Like, I guess if they want to go in that direction, they must have a plan for it, right?
Yep.
There must be some idea that they're going to go with that might be fun. It'll
Season
be cool,
3,
whatever.
Or a movie.
Yep. Or a movie, I'm fine with that too. But like we're hinted at Kotaro being sick or being ill, needing help. Like, and even that we didn't even talk about that scene where he's basically just talking to Sakura one-on-one, and she's like thanking him for giving her this opportunity to be an idol, right? And it's like he's sitting there, and they're at a school, or they're not at a school, they're in a mall, but like, you know, it simulates like a school setting, whatever, where all he wanted to do for her because of the nice things that she did for him in high school was see her happiness. It like flashes back to like her funeral and when he sees her dead, whatever, like, or finds her idol application all tattered because she just got hit by a car. It's like, oh, so it just foreshadows. It's like, oh, so that's why he probably went to this guy, you know, the random old dude, the bartender in the current time, and was like, I want to do something, like, help, let me revitalize Sai. Like, you can see that his motivations are shown and expressed like throughout the show.
Yep.
He's not just some crazy guy like in the first season who just like Saga, you know, like he's not just some random he's not just some random nationalist.
Yep.
Or prefecturalist, I guess.
Prefecturalist, yeah.
I'm trademarking that term. Voice acting phenomenal in this show by everybody, but especially by him.
Especially by Tay, yeah.
Oh, and Ty, of course, yeah. The Ohio gozaimasu.
Ohio gozaimasu. I mean, he also solidified my cosplay for Anime New York City. I am going as him.
You got to. That'd be great. Maybe I'll go as Yugiri. I don't know.
I'd love it.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's a great. It works for you too because you're built like him, so I like that. That's a. Again, it's just it was such a good show, man.
It was really good.
Cannot stop ranting about it. And again, I sat there and racked my mind, my stupid, critical, annoying voice in the back of my head kind of like state of mind where I'm always just like, yeah, but that was bad. Like, I racked it for a long time to try and come up with a criticism for this show, and I could not come up with a single thing that I genuinely like disliked about any of the episodes either. Like, every episode had its purpose. Every episode was fun and had a little bit of a narrative to it, had a little bit of a build up to the final performance, right? The crescendo to the finale.
Yep.
And it was just, oh my God. This show is the easiest 10 out of 10 I think I've ever given in anime. Like, it's that, and again, it's like this and Violet are like the only two shows where I've been like 10.
You never had to question it, yeah.
11. Like, this is insane. I've never been so like driven by a show. And again, it's an idol show. It's like, what the fuck, Pat? Like, how are you this into an idol show? But it's not just an idol show.
It's not.
It's really not, and that's why I'm just like so blown away by it. I don't know. It's not even labeled an idol show on Mal, so maybe I'm wrong. It's not an idol show.
I mean, it's
so much
supposed to
more.
like parody it, but like it also is it. So it's like
Right.
it's both things at the same time. It's kind of like Konosuba, where like it parodies isekais, but it's also an isekai. So
Yeah, it's also very like plays heavily into the tropes like
yeah,
as a joke, but also still has to use them, so it's still not. It's still troping, but it's like
yeah.
it's well done, so it's fun. I don't know. That's the only thing so that was one thing I thought of when I was thinking about it critically. I was like, oh, the ending's very cliche. We all come together, we all help ourselves, yeah, whatever. Everything works out. And it's like, okay, so is that a little cliche? Yeah, but like what do we need right now as people in the world, right? Like we need a uniting story, especially
Yeah.
after such a depressing last year with lots of death and famine and pandemic and everything. Like it's not bad to have stories like this. That shouldn't be like a serious criticism unless it like gets in
I
the
don't think it
way
should be
of the
either.
story. I like, especially for a story like this where it's like, yeah, this is their journey, this is their saga, this is
Yes.
their attempt at something. It's okay. Like, well, I mean, like the Odyssey, right? Like the fucking one of the oldest things in history. The Odyssey is a conquest. It's a saga, right? Like, there's no it just because it ends doesn't ends like in a somewhat positive way doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Like you don't have, and not everything has to be dark and depressing like the
Yep.
real world is. So that's why I look at this. I think 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10, whatever you want to say, 13 out of 10.
Sure.
Best show
A million out of 10. Let's. Yeah.
best show of the year. Best show of the year.
Yep. For me, I agree with Pat, especially with the ending. Sometimes you don't always have to reinvent the wheel for like the ending. Like it could just be like cookie cutter, as long as like the journey to get to that ending is solid and like really well done. Then that's all that matters, essentially, to me. As long as they don't botch the ending, which they did not at all. I was a huge fan of Zombieland Saga. I had so much fun watching it. It was every Thursday I looked forward to watching a new episode of Zombieland Saga. Like kind of like Pat said, there's no like real like criticisms to the show. I thought I knew what to expect, and it delivered more than what I actually thought I was going to get. I thought the music was better this season than season one.
Definitely.
I think we saw like a really fun development between the cast compared to season one, and I also kind of just like the twists and turns that they did. I'm glad Yuguri got her backstory. Still don't really know a lot about Tay. We know that like she's somehow connected to Sakura a little bit because their family gravestones are right next to each other, so it's kind of hinted that like maybe they have some connection, and maybe we'll find that out in season 3 if there is.
Or maybe he accidentally just dug her up and couldn't bury her again, so that's why she's just some random person. Like, you know, like there's so many things that it could be. It's so
yeah, because even like when the news reporter is like digging into their background and like they find like all these like snippets about like all the cast members, but like for Tay there's like no information. It's just like, who is she? But she's the legendary Tay Yamada. It's like, yeah. Okay, why is she legendary? And we still don't know. And I really like that running joke. It's kind of like, it's just super fun. Because they even reference in season 1, I was like, why is she legendary? And then his like response is just like, it's because she is. Like, that's just the answer. Yeah, had a lot of fun. Anime of the year, probably contender, I would say. It's probably going to be in my top 6, just based off what we're getting for the rest of the year. I think this is probably the second best show for me this season. I really enjoyed it. I'm giving it a 9. I loved it. If we get a third season, I would not stop them from making more of this content because I love them all. And I don't even like a stupid, like silly spinoff. Like, take this for what it is. If there's like an isekai quartet version of something like this, I think it'd be like hilarious. Where there's like chibi versions. I think it'd be really fun to have these characters be in like really silly situations and make it work. But big fan. We talked about Zombieland Saga for like 25 minutes, so I think it's time to move on. So that was a 9 from me, a 10 from Pat. And next we're going to move on to a show that neither of us are giving a 9 or a 10. And that's Higehiro. I shaved and then I picked up a homeless girl, whatever it's called. To me, I thought the show had a lot of promise, especially in the beginning episodes. High school girl, yeah.
It's much better. Much better. I picked up a high school girl.
Emphasis on high school girl. If I could change the ending, it's I don't love this high school girl, but then she learned algebra and now I'm in love with her. I hated the ending so much. They completely ruined what could have been a really great telling of like a like a coming of age story for like both of these characters, that these two main characters, that I think they had a lot of potential of. They didn't have to incorporate that romance element into it, even though we all knew it was coming. Like I'm not even gonna front act like it wasn't going to happen. Like it's
It was already
anime.
there.
It's
It was
anime.
already there throughout.
Yeah, I mean for one character for sure. The other guys,
Right.
Seiyu's just like, I love you. Let's have sex, and he's like, no, you're a teenage girl. I'm not going to do this. But now you learn algebra, and 2 years has passed, and now it's like, baby.
Okay.
I'm a big stickler for the ending.
What, so does she need to learn calculus first before she's allowed to like?
It's just like the whole. It's just like the whole reasoning of like why he realized he loved her after he made his own miso soup, and it's like this isn't as good as Seiyu's, and then he has the one tear, and he's just like, oh, I miss her. Oh my god, it's like, really, like you didn't realize that the entire time she was living there. I hate stuff like that, especially when you have like characters who are more relatable in your real life in front of you wanting to suck your dick. Like it's right there. They have two coworkers that are just like, oh, you're so hot, let me nobble on that knob, baby. And then it's like, he's just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that at all because I'm a Chad.
They don't make good miso soup though. Like
they might. He never invited them over, and they never attempted to make miso soup. So all I know is that his boss likes to drink and go out and get barbecue. And last time I checked, those two things are fantastic. And fuck your miso soup. Let's go get drunk and eat barbecue. So that's just me. Pat, your thoughts on Higehiro?
Yeah, so I don't know. It's such a sketchy thing to talk about too, because you're just like, oh yeah, it's a high school girl, but also she's kind of been on her own, right? So like, the way I looked at it was that it's very clear that the love is one sided, right? But is her love for him because he's not actually a manipulative sexual predator that's taking advantage of her, and he's just like being a good person, a good not it doesn't even have to be like a father figure, but more like a guardian, like being a person that is supporting her and giving her an outlet and a person to take comfort in, right? And so I was like, man, I really hope they don't get together at the end. That would be cool. But we knew it's anime, so it's going to end up happening, right?
Yep.
But I didn't mind how they did it that much because, for one, it's very clear to me, at least, that like he's like, yeah, no, I don't. You are not at a point in your life where you can say that you actually love me, and it's not adoration or it's not juvenile, right? But again, it's implied that there's 2 years apart. There's 2 years where she is again making friends, like they show in the little like snippet at the end. She makes friends. She does high school things. She grows up, and of course, could they have fleshed this out better so that it's not as awkward or as rushed as it feels at the end? That they just end up together. Yeah, they could have.
Yeah, they could have. Yeah. But like, absolutely.
But so of course. Yeah, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt, because I don't think this show's a masterpiece or anything by any means. But I also don't think it was that as devastatingly horrible as you are putting it out to be, because I felt like it's shown that, okay, she is, or it's implied, okay, she is matured and has reached a point where, I mean, again, consent or not, like that's a whole nother conversation, but like she is still dedicated. She wants to try and prove that she loves him. And you know what? He realized after she left that I think it's like it's implied that he knows that he likes her, but he's being cautious or not being, not taking advantage of her because he's a good dude, right? Or because he's a person that understands the problems with the power dynamic that they're in now. But now she's lived on her own, not lived on her own. She lived with her parents again for 2 years. She's becoming an independent adult, making her own adult decisions. That's why I didn't mind that she came back to him, because especially because they had 2 years without contact. It's not like he was sitting there texting her or visiting her occasionally in a sense where it'd be similar to like grooming somebody. That's where I was just like, all right, it's not, this isn't grooming. She's an adult, and at some point you have to let people make their own adult decisions, and that's where I stand on this.
So I'm always sort of like referred to like how I relate to the characters, because by the end of the show, the main character is like 28 or 29, and Seiyu is 19 years old. And I am roughly in that same group. So it's like, would I ever consider dating somebody 10 years younger than me at like this point in my life? And the answer is absolutely not. Like, I have zero. So it would be 10 years now would probably be somebody either their sophomore or junior year in college is roughly like would be the age gap for me. And like, would I ever date a college student in my life? Like, absolutely not. Pat, that would be the equivalent of you dating like an 8th grader. Like,
okay, pause. No, it wouldn't. It would be so different. Like that.
No, in terms of like where they are in their life. No, there's a huge difference in like the mental like age gap thing. I'm just talking about like that's like the equivalent of like our age compared to their age.
I guess, but like at the same time, like even right now, I like.
I'm not saying you're dating an 8th grader, by the way.
I know, I know, I understand that, but I'm saying that like, I think that like people who are 28, 29 should be able to date college students.
I'm not exactly. I'm not saying they can't. Not saying they can't. I'm relating it to me as a person.
Well, as me, I don't want to date someone who's in college, and I'm only like a year out of college. I'm not even a year out of college. It's like,
I know. I'm just trying to relate because like he is like a post-grad corporate working dude. I am a college graduate working in corporate. Like, I relate to this character in a lot of ways. And so like the idea of me ever like thinking about like that like a romantic element of somebody of that age to me is like 0%, especially when you have 2 coworkers who are there. By the way, pro tip, don't dip your pen in company ink. I would not recommend dating these coworkers, but I mean like their options. Like, oh, by the way, even in the show, the fact that they had like these arcs of their like romantic, like side romantic elements are just essentially pushed aside. Like, it seemed like those episodes mean nothing. At least to me, I didn't think like it drove any narrative, and I didn't really understand like why it was even there, unless it was there to fill the 13 episodes that they had to do. But I'm just relaying this to me. You can relay it any way you want into yourself. I'm saying for me, that's why like I hated the ending. It's why I gave it. That's why I'm giving it a low score, and it's why I have a lot of problems with this show.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I just think that for one, you gotta remember, for me at least, it's like, oh, one, it's anime.
It is anime.
And two, you have never had the scenario happen to you where someone who is someone lives with you for what, 6 months or something.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Pat. I hope I never do.
I don't. I hope I never do too. But you never know. Like, or not. You never know. I'm saying you don't know what it would have been like to have been in that situation. So that's where I'm just like, all right, you know what? It's an anime. It's not. So you have your biggest problem seems to be the ending with this show. For me,
oh yeah, I'm a stickler for bad endings.
Well, me too. I think good endings are bad sometimes. But my biggest problem with this show, I think it was in like episode 6. Sayu is confronted by one of her coworkers. Is her name Sayu?
Yeah, Sayu. Okay. Sayu. Yeah.
Okay, I want to make sure because like Asami is the coworker. All right, this whatever. She's confronted by a male coworker who was one of the people that she slept with or stayed at their house for a few nights, whatever, or a few weeks at a time, but actually had to sleep with them and like or whatever. He literally attempts to rape her in Yoshida's apartment.
Yeah.
Yoshida stops it. Doesn't let it happen. She. Then her coworker Asami, like the next day at work, confronts the guy about it and says, "Hey, why the fuck did you try to rape her?" He says, I'm not gonna apologize for trying to sleep with you again, but maybe I pushed it a little too far."
Yeah, a little too far.
A little too far. And then Sayu goes, she says like, "Oh, I'm not gonna forgive you right away. But it's okay," or something, or I'm not upset, or it was just like I wrote about it in our chat like last night. I was like, wait, did they really just like someone attempted rape and then it was just like whatever, they apologized?
We'll talk about that in Koikimo too, because I have an issue with something similar to that.
Okay, yeah, in Koikimo it's very similar, but like in this show it was a literal straight up like, no, this was.
Like physical,
full on, like not just like cornering the girl, like putting your hand on, like no, this was literal, like and it's just like, oh, there we go.
Yeah.
It's over. Like, we forgive you. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it was
Your coworkers.
it was
bro.
really bad.
That's so much.
I
Worse
might
than
drop the score even
ending.
lower now because now that you
I convinced you.
now
Yeah,
that
I
you
brought that up again.
well,
Yeah.
I dropped it. I dropped the points a lot from the show, but now that you say that, I feel like I should drop it even more. Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, that scene
I
was
don't know.
real bad.
It was terrible.
I'll
I don't
leave it
know.
at what it is.
I'm this show 6 out of 10 for me. I enjoyed watching parts of it. It was fun to see their relationship. It was cool. Sayu and Yoshida are cool together. I liked their banter. Sayu is fun. She's clearly deranged in the sense that she doesn't know what she should be doing as a high school girl, but like not in a mentally incapable kind of way. It's more in just like a naive or very clearly scarred and manipulated way, which was an interesting character to explore. And the art was nice too.
Yep.
I think the whole cast was fun. Well, the main cast, I should say, the coworkers and Sayu's friend were fun characters, but at the same time, yeah,
Sayu's friend was the best, my favorite character.
Yeah, she was really good. I liked her a lot too. But yeah, outside of that though, this show is very sketch. It's also very apologistic for literal
yeah it is.
That kind of just dropped my score instantly. So yeah, 6 out of 10. I don't know, I'm not gonna recommend this to people though.
Yep, I'm giving it a 5. Hated the ending. There's a lot of really good dynamics with the show that I really enjoyed. I thought like a lot of the adult conversations, especially with the main character and the not the boss coworker, but like the other, like the Kohai coworker, I thought their interactions was like legit, like really well done, especially as like somebody who's been in like the corporate world and seen like my coworkers dating, and then like the next day they're not dating, and just like, whoa, what happened? So I kind of really like that dynamic of like, I don't want to date you, you're my coworker, things could get weird, and guess what, that's a real thing, and I really enjoyed that element. Hated the ending. I can't stand it. I felt like a lot of the context that was built throughout the show was like a complete waste because they kind of just like threw it out. That's just my opinion. Take it for what it is, like whatever show you like. To me, didn't like it, especially how much I resonate with the main character. I'm giving it a 5. It's just whatever. I don't think I'd recommend it to other people either. Next show is a show that only I watch that is probably the most hyped show of the season, which I do not understand at all, which is 86.
I'm so excited to start it. Oh my god, people are talking so much about it.
Dude, people are giving this like 10 out of 10s. Like, holy shit, this show is incredible. I'm like, what part of this show like stood out in any way to be a 10 out of 10? Things that were like really good. The music was really good. The sound design was really good. The main characters are pretty, Shin and the other girl are pretty well done. But for the rest of it, I did not like it at all. I hated the fact, my biggest problem, Pat, I'm sorry I'm going to spoil this.
Are you actually?
Oh yeah, it's a huge thing about why I hate this show, is that the 86 have like this 5-year regiment of like, hey, if you work for 5 years, you can like be free, and then they all realize that's a lie, and so instead of like trying to like change their fate, they just accept it and just like, I guess we're gonna fucking die. Like, I hated that element. This show to me was like, if you've ever seen Land of the yeah, Pat. Right. If you've ever seen Land of the Lustrous, the anime, I give it a 7, and I don't think Land of the Lustrous is bad. It's just that what the anime did was it left a lot of questions on the table that could be answered, and I would probably give it a higher score if there was more content available. 86 was kind of the same way. There are so many questions left unanswered, and the questions that they did answer were awfully done. Shin's brother, awfully done. I thought it was terrible how they handled that whole family situation. It didn't make any sense. I don't understand like why they even incorporated it. It to me it was just so dumb. I also hate when they take the main characters of a story and make them seem like geniuses, and then make the entire cast morons. Like, everybody in the 86 are just dumb. Dumb as a bag of rocks. They have no purpose. They only follow orders, which makes sense. They're soldiers, and that happens a lot of times. But like, they get like these characteristic backgrounds where you see these characters interact with each other, so you kind of get to know who they are, and they don't seem dumb. And then just when they get put into these like serious elements, it's just like, I guess I'm dumb now. Hated that, but I am not just looking forward to, but like, I will watch more content for 86. I just don't think it's like this 10 out of 10 masterpiece that people are like making it out to be. It's really interesting. To me, it was also just kind of more of just like a retelling of like World War II. Like, the Alba are Nazi Germany, and the 86 are essentially any other non like Aryan race characters. Like, the Alba are all like these blue eyes, blue hair type of color scheme. Everybody there has it. The 86 are literally everybody else. I was like, okay, so this is just like a retelling of World War II in like the anime sense. Kind of the way that Attack on Titan sort of was that same way, where it was more of just like I felt like it was more of like a retelling of like World War II elements. This is the same way. So like, I kind of know where the story is, where they want to go. And I'll look forward to more, but to be honest, season 1 or part 1 of season 1 or whatever it is, we're getting core 2 in October. It was fine. I thought it was just like a fine show. I'm giving it a 6, and it's more just I don't understand the hype around this show, because they really haven't presented anything that would make me give it above a 6. It was 11 episodes of just like mech battles. I'm like, how is this different than Iron-Blooded Orphans? How is this different than Code Geass? How is this different from like these other like mech style shows that have like the exact same elements of like these military political drama elements? And it did it to me. Like, it had like nothing new. Like, so why is this a 10? That's more like my biggest problem with it, was like understanding the hype. But I don't think the show is necessarily bad. And I think with more content, it will answer some of the questions. I just thought like the questions that they did answer were done very poorly. So,
oh, Pete, you're being that one of those. There's nothing bad with this show. The only thing that's bad is that people like it.
I just said that the questions that they answered that they answered in the show were handled poorly. You took your headset off. You walked away, Pat. Get out of here. Get out of here. I think it's fine.
What you just said was funny to me.
I'm not going to give it like a 9 because there's nothing wrong with it. Like, if there's nothing that stands out, I'm not going to give it like above a 7. Like, the main character is hot. Like, cool. Like, a lot of main characters are hot. Like, she's a tsundere. Wow. Okay. Like, what's new with that? Like, it's fine. Like, these are fine elements to a show. It's nothing bad, but like, it's like a 6 or a 7. Like, that's just what it is.
You would give it a 7 based off of what you said.
Show me something more that will make me grasp my interest. But like, right now, it's just like, it's fine. It's Iron-Blooded Orphans. It's Code Geass. It's just like another political mech drama. Like, it's fine. So hopefully I see more. Hopefully I change my mind. It's the same thing with like Code Geass. Like, season 1 of Code Geass, I gave like an 8 or 7. And then season 2 like answered everything that I wanted answered, and I love that show. So hopefully 86 does the Code Geass for me, and I'm like, wow, Pete, I was a fucking idiot when I reviewed part 1 of 86. Like, this show is a masterpiece. I'm really hoping that's the case, because I really like watching anime, and I like watching good anime, so I'm hoping that's the case, but it is what it is. But Pat, I'll pass it over to you. You're going to talk about Joran.
I was just say, speaking of good anime, well, and I say that in a slight jest, but actually, so Joran, the Princess of Snow and Blood, is a historical drama that aired this season, done by a studio that literally has done nothing else. So this is their first anime as a studio. It's pretty damn cool to see. Bakken Record, don't know. Again, can't go into detail about who they are or what they've done because they've done nothing. This is their first anime. I can't go into spoilers too deep because this show is very spoiler heavy. And I have not fully finished it yet either. I finished most of it before recording this. But what I will say is that the animation is still as good as it was at the beginning of the show, which was one of the standout things for me that we talked about in our preview. I enjoy the main girl is interesting, especially because I'll get into a little bit of spoilers real quick, but basically, but at the end of the fourth episode, she defeats the person that she's trying to get revenge for her family for. She kills him. She kills him, and he is dead. And sure, did she lose her final family member? Yes, but she still has like this little girl that she takes care of, who she actually assassinated the parents of. But like, and the little girl's sitting there like, man, I want to kill you, but at the end of the day, she actually saved that little girl from very abusive, manipulative parents, whatever. Like that's a whole little side story that they've got. But there, I really was like, oh, where does the show go from here after episode 4, where her revenge tale is finished? 4 episodes in, there's still like 12 or 8 other episodes left, and what they do is they follow her coming to terms with the fact that, oh, now my life doesn't have purpose anymore. I dedicated my life to getting revenge, and I thought I might die in the process. I am alive now. There's a child that depends on me now, and like, what do I do with myself? Like, and because like, and she also witnesses like, oh, if you ever try to leave the organization that she is within, you die. You will not. They'll pretend that they're gonna send you off to, to greener pastures, and then they're gonna shoot you behind the barn. Like, there's no leaving this organization once you are a member, once you are an assassin, like she is essentially, right? And so she realizes that, and she's lost. She doesn't know what to do. She's scarred, and they do PTSD, I think, really well, or they show her trauma extremely well in the show. And I can't wait to see how it wraps up. I cannot believe. I understand that the show does a lot of random twists, a lot of random uh, cliffhangers, or, oh, surprise, this person you thought might be alive, nah, they're dead. Or, oh, that person you thought was dead, surprise, they're alive. They do that a lot in this show, and it's a little annoying when you're watching it, right? But to have a 6.12 on Mal, I am shocked that it's this low. I think that this show at least deserves like a 7. I think right now I tentatively have it at a 7.5 at my I'm about like 4/5 of the way through the show. So I think it could go up to an 8 if it ends really strong, or hints, or tells a complete story, but it could also drop to a 7 if it's like, oh, read the manga, which I believe there's a manga. Oh no, it's not. It's an original source. So yeah, I don't know what it would do. But if it doesn't end strongly, it could very easily as well be a 7. So, um, again, I don't understand the hate for the show, especially because it's got some sick fight scenes in it. Like, you would
Yeah.
think that the Shonen Bros would enjoy the fight scenes and at least pump the score up a little bit. I don't know. A 6.12 seems.
I still think it's those beginning episodes people rated it low and then dropped it is what I personally think is like the driving factor, because I know like 6 people that watched it, and I think you and Rifle are probably the only ones that are planning on finishing it.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of people dropped the show.
Yeah, and I just don't understand either, though, because like those first few episodes, I didn't think were that bad. I thought they were like, oh wow, there's a lot of mystery. I don't really understand what's going on, but like, wow, that's a really cool sword effect.
Yep.
That's a really cool setting that they're in. Oh wow, they're, and like normally it's like, oh, when you're in like a secret organization or they follow like a protagonist, right? Usually in like a situation where it's rebels versus the Empire,
Yep.
right? Like essentially that's the best description, like Star Wars rebels versus the Empire. Normally you follow the rebels, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, no, this is a girl who, of course, not that she cares about the government that she's working for.
Sure.
She is essentially like, I guess to keep going with that example, she's like in Kylo Ren's Dark Squad, whatever the fuck it is, the special operative like squad. Like, she is a secret assassin for the government. Like,
Okay.
that's not normally shown, and it's like them fighting back against the rebels or infiltrating the rebel plans, or the rebels to the shogunate, essentially, is what it is.
Sure.
And it's like, I don't know, I thought that was cool. And I liked it. I was confused by it at first because I thought she was a rebel for the first 2 episodes, and then I realized, oh wait, no, she's actually fighting for the government. But I don't know. I think that the show deserves a lot more credit than it's getting. I think it being an original and also being a studio that has no backup to it doesn't help it out at all. I also agree, though, too, that the first few episodes could leave people wanting more, but I don't really know what more you could want. Like, it's got good. Again, it's a mystery show. It's a little bit of an action, historical kind of thing. It's a little supernatural as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of different flavors that you would think it would have actually like touched a few more people's hearts, but I guess not. So if I had to rate it today, I'd give it a 7 because I
premature 7 before the ending.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it could very easily bump up to an 8, but I think realistically, knowing what I expect from it, I think.
What if they botched the ending? What do you think you give it?
Well, if it's like horribly botched, probably a 6,
Okay.
like a 6 or a 5. If it just like sizzles out and it's like nothing special,
yep.
It's 7.
So 5 to 8 range is what you're thinking, somewhere in that.
Again, most likely a 7 though.
Okay.
I think 7 is like probably the most realistic score. Because again, I think it is very much so underrated at a 6.12. Because like again, that score average is way lower. Than
I feel you.
Yeah. All right, so now let's move on to a God, why does this show exist?
What do you mean? The show's great. I've been killing slimes for 300 years, and now I'm at max level or whatever it's called.
All right, are you ready for my commentary on this?
Yes, please, because I think we might fight.
All right, I'm ready to go. I have 2 sentences probably for
Let's
this.
hear it.
The show is really cute and fun at times. The show is extremely horny at times, and I am, and unnecessarily so, to the point where I'm just like, why am I watching this? That's all I've got. I don't know. I enjoyed it, but it did literally nothing. It felt like a waste of my time, which was like intentional. It's not meant to be a provocative piece, but why did I watch this?
It was like Kobayashi horny though, wasn't it? Like it wasn't like fan servicely horny or whatever. It's just like Yuri baiting a lot of the time or something like that. And
extremely Yuri baity, and one specific character's tits were just everywhere.
All elf characters have huge tits. Like that's just like a thing in anime.
Like I don't think so. I think it's like normally it's like, oh, the elves are flat. Isn't that normally the joke?
I feel like I don't know. I guess I watched How Not to Summon a Demon Lord season 2, and there was a huge titty elf in that as well.
Yeah, so like it's not that level of fan service, by the way, either. I'm not saying it's only a fan service show. It's just like that one character, considering the rest of the show was just like wholesome, cute girl,
yep.
whatever, like doing whatever cute girl things, cute dragon doing cute dragon things, and then suddenly, elf girl with big badunkadunks just
big badunkadunks,
waving them everywhere on the screen. It was just like, okay, I like why? Like this show was fine without you. I don't know.
I agree that like it wasn't necessary based off like what the show was going for, but I also feel like it didn't like take anything away really, for me at least.
I think that's fair. I'm not saying it like ruined the show for me, but it also, I think this show could have been without it and would have been better. Yeah,
I mean, I can see that for sure. I just feel like they were so like, it wasn't like it was like every episode of every scene she was in. It's just like, yo, check out these honkers, boy. Like, it really wasn't like that at all. There was definitely scenes, though, where I think she was, like, drunk and dancing, and she was jumping around, and they made it very obvious that these physics are working. Like, I understand that aspect. Yeah. To me, I really enjoyed, like, the family aspect. I've realized now, after reading a bunch of manga and anime, I am really drawn towards, like, family dynamics and slice of life elements. And I thought they had, like, a really fun, like, cast or whatever. I loved how, like, Beelzebub would just, like, randomly show up and, like, essentially be, like, the cool aunt, I guess I'd put it that way. Like, she really enjoyed, like, the 2, like, daughters that she had, and it was, like, always seemed to, like, go out of her way for her. That's, like, really what I liked about the show. Was this, like, groundbreaking in, like, comedy? Not really, but I thought this was, like, a really, like, fun slice of life comedy that we got this season. Like, I was pleasantly surprised by it. I nothing like super bad, I would say. Like, some of the episodes were fine, I guess, but like for the most part, I was enjoying myself through every episode. That's just me.
Yeah, I don't know. Final thoughts for me: 6 out of 10. Again, like, is this like the worst thing I've watched, or is it bad? Probably not. No, like it's just, but it's also like, do I wish I watched Vivy or 86 instead? Yeah, I wanted something with a little bit more like oomph to it, or
I feel
narrative, maybe. That's just me being pretentious and douchey. So you can go ahead and give your final score and bump our average up a little bit.
I mean, I'm giving it a 7.
Okay. Never mind, then.
it was like close to an 8. They made it very obvious that I don't think we're getting a second season. I based off the ending. If this was a manga, I would probably buy it. I think it's a light novel, so words are for nerds, so I don't read. Have to make that clear. While I have this background of manga behind me.
Yeah,
but
wait, what? Manga? You're gonna read the manga if it exists. But
yeah, like if we do like decimal scoring, it'd probably be like a 7.5. Like it was fun, it was enjoyable. I really like these slice of life shows where I can just like on like a Sunday night before I go to work or something like that, I'll turn this on, I'll relax before bed. I know that nothing bad is going to happen and I can just chill. And that's what the show was. And I liked it. I would recommend it for anybody who's looking for like, I don't know, a fantasy slice of life. It was really, really well done. Just nothing like groundbreaking, nothing like that. And it was just an enjoyable show. So I think I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I guess so. If you're looking for fantasy slice, I was just gonna say like otherwise, just watch Laid Back Camp or something. If you're looking for,
I mean, that's the best slice of life of all time. Of course, you should watch Laid Back Camp, Pat.
Yeah, well, that's why I was just like, well, if you're looking for a slice of life, then watch that instead rather than this. But yeah, if you're looking for fantasy, then I guess this is the right
for sure
one of those shows for sure.
Ooh, okay.
I'm gonna get speed round time.
Speed round time. Okay, so this is.
You got it.
What I'm gonna try doing is because there's like I watched like 20 shows this season and we can only talk about like 8. I took like 10 shows. I'm gonna do a speed round and give my review of each show in about a minute. So there are
I'm gonna time you.
You can time me. There are definitely shows on this list that deserve more than a minute, but unfortunately, it's just not gonna work out this way this time. So. Before I start, the shows I dropped this season, I dropped Burning Kabadadi or whatever it's called. I thought it was really boring. Usually I'm a huge fan of sports animes, and it was just really boring. Let's Make a Cup. Normally I'm a giant fan of slice of life of cute girls doing cute things, and this was super boring. I did not like the cast at all, and the live action elements were way better than the anime. And the Full Dive RPG just wasn't fun. Hated the story. Not funny at all. Really bad, like Beaufry style show. Except like the main chick had huge tits. That was it. Like, ha 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 ha. I dropped that so fast. Fuck that show. Okay, speed round. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Okay, first up is Shadow's House. I thought it was a very interesting element of taking a horror style show but making it a slice of life. I really enjoyed the cast elements of finding out. Oh, these are spoilers, by the way. Finding out that like the living dolls are actually humans. I love the hierarchy aspect of the shadow people essentially running this community and then picking out these children to be the people, like the faces for the shadow people. The ED is by far the best ED of the year. I don't even think it's close. I'd be shocked if anything beats it. That ED was absolutely incredible. I would love a second season. Shadow's House was great. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. Next, Nagatoro. Love Nagatoro. There's my manga. It was probably the ringleader of the new big 3 with Nagatoro, Uzaki, and Takagi. Huge fan. Really fun, really wholesome. I really liked how they did the same thing in the manga and same thing with the anime. How in the first episode and chapters that it was more like bullying, and they completely moved away from bullying and made it purely teasing and just a really good time. Had a great time watching Nagatoro. Super fun. I'm guessing it's getting a second season because so many people watched it, and I think its manga is doing pretty well. Big fan of Nagatoro. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10, hoping for more. Next up, after that, How Not to Summon a Demon Lord Season 2. What a huge step down from Season 1. It was not fun at all like Season 1 was. Kind of like how Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? Kind of went from Season 1 to Season 2 where like Season 1 was super fun, and then Season 2 got like a lot more serious and it kind of took away that fun element. Thought I did the same thing this season. Did not have fun with it. The fan service is so fucking forced. It's so bad. I hate it, especially when they do it to Rem and not the huge titty elf girl. Why not fan service the shit out of her? Because, you know, she actually looks like a woman and not a child. I would prefer if you fan service the woman. If I had to pick. Not a whole lot to say. It was 10 episodes instead of 12, so I felt like they missed a lot. They definitely set it up for like a third season. I doubt we're getting a third season, but they kind of set it up that way. I'm giving it a 5. It was whatever. I wouldn't recommend it to almost anybody. After that is the Saint's Magic is Omnipotent. Really interesting take on getting like isekai. It was like ascendance of a bookworm, but instead of a bookworm, she's an herbalist, and instead of an herbalist, she's now like a mage. And then after she's a mage, she's like a priest, and she's like a whole bunch of stuff. I really like the adult romance elements to it because the main character is like 25 and they had like adult interactions. That was really fun. Like the magic like system that they used in the show. I like that she is the saint. She is by far the most powerful person in this world, and it makes sense because that's what the show's called. Other than that, it was just like a fine slice of life. I give it a 7 just because I like when the main characters are not 12 and they are 25, so I'm giving it a 7. I hope there's a second season. After that is the Snow White Notes, which started off so strong. The music in the show is incredible. If you like the historical Japanese instruments, it's the shamisen, I think it's called. The 3-string guitar. Really great music. Holy crap. If you are a fan of music anime, this one was pretty good. However, I am comparing it to probably my favorite like historical music style show like this called Kono Oto Tamare, which is just a much better version of Snow White Notes. I still thought Snow White Notes was good. I just thought they were going to do like a more drama element, especially how episode 1 kind of showed that it was going to be a little bit more serious because he's kind of homeless in episode 1. And then they kind of just went like the high school route. It was fine. I gave it a 7. It's more of like the music. The OP is incredible. Wow, the OP slaps. Love Snow White. I just say I loved it. I liked Snow White Notes. 7 out of 10. Combantants will be dispatched, aka Konosuba Light, same author. If you like Konosuba, you'll probably like Combantants will be dispatched. It was a fun show. Nothing like stood out into it. It's not as smart as Konosuba. But it's like silly, goofy, fart joke style of humor, I guess I'll put it that way. The cast was really fun. I kind of liked how they incorporated like the elements of being evil into getting rewards, and then they would just like spend those points on like stupid shit. It was fun. Turn your brain off style comedy. I'm giving it a 6. It was fine. I would recommend it if you're a fan of Konosuba. And last but not least, this might take a little bit more than a minute. The Wonder Egg special. What a massive disappointment. Going into this special, I had Wonder Egg at a 10 out of 10. I think it had a potential for me to be the best anime ever created. I absolutely fell in love with Wonder Egg. I love the themes.
Really?
Oh, I loved Wonder Egg. I thought they handled so many things in the anime sense so well. I loved how they like incorporated so many things about being like a teenage girl. I was a huge fan of that element because they took like really serious topics and animated it and did like anime stuff with it. And I thought that was really well done. I thought it was super unique. And however, the Wonder Egg special answered no questions. If anything, it added to it. I have no idea like what the concluding story is. Pat, you probably hate it because you hate Akudama Drive's ending. This is 10 times worse than Akudama's Drive ending.
Well, because Wonder Egg's ending was Akudama Drive like light, like it was essentially the same idea where it was like, all right, yeah, there's definitely more there.
But they added more questions to the story, which Akudama Drive really didn't like add more questions. It was just like open end. This is just like things happened. I was not a fan. I gave it a 4. If by the grace of God we get Wonder Egg Priority Brotherhood like 10 years down the road, I will scream with glee. But I just thought this show had so much potential. It was so good. This was like the next Madoka Magica. Like how, like to me, that's how I like received it. But unfortunately, they kind of dropped the ball at the end. It sounds like there's a lot of production issues. Originally, this was set out to be 2 cores. And then Cloverworks is like, never mind, it's 1 core. And then the director got hospitalized twice. And so there's a lot of just things that happened with Wonder Egg Priority that kind of just like, it's not like the creator's fault. Like, it's not their fault that I gave this a 4. It's Cloverworks. It's whoever's in charge of the budget that changed their mind. It kind of sucks because I thought the show was great. And I thought they could have done a lot with it. And they just didn't. So that concludes the speed round. I hope I did well. I hope people understood what I was saying. I was talking really fast for 10 minutes, so.
You did a good job. The only one you went over on was Wonder Egg at 2 minutes. So
yeah.
I kind of encouraged that too. So good job, Pete. That was very well done. Golf claps all around for
for finishing that.
I wish I had
All
some
right.
water, but we'll make it work. Let's
All right, well now it's my turn.
yeah, let's go.
These are two shows that Pete did not mention that he dropped in his little drop thing.
Oh yeah, I did
that
drop this show and the next show.
And the next show, so I will just ahead of time so he doesn't have to say it. He did drop both of these shows. I kept watching them because basically I had already watched like 6 or 7 episodes of them, and I don't usually drop shows that I watch more than an episode or two of. So yeah, I finished them. First one is Osamake, Romcom with Childhood Friend Won't Lose. This show just did nothing for me.
Nope.
This
show sucked.
I really wanted it to be funny and clever. I wanted it to be Oriski, but
so did I.
And it just wasn't. So I don't know. I tried to get serious at times, and just not for me.
Nope.
I didn't care. I also didn't care at all about the third girl that they added in the green.
Not at all.
I was just like, all right, why are you here? Let me just have the
no
fun
point, no reason at all to bring her in.
Yeah, just give me the third. Give me the childhood friend was fun, quirky. It was cool. It was just like, kind of teasing, but not, like where she was like just, but manipulative, but not in like a dark, like trying to manipulate in a bad way, but like manipulative in the sense that she's trying to get what she wants and she's trying to do what she loves or get what she loves. And I thought that was cool. That's a fun idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
On the contrast, the main girl or the other girl, long-haired girl, it's like, oh, this guy doesn't realize, but he was like my friend growing up, or he was really close to me and I liked him a lot. He inspired me to become who I am today. I like him. There we go. Like, that's cool. And so I liked that dynamic, but then I don't know.
They kind of threw it away because I was hooked. After like 3 episodes, I was like, this could be really good. Like, I think I made it to episode 7 where like she pretended that she had amnesia, and then all of a sudden she's like, oh, I messed up. I forgot that I was supposed to pretend I had amnesia. And then just like, I guess that's fine. Like, that's the story. I was just like, this is so dumb. Like, this is from what I heard, the ending goes nowhere. The whole time I was thinking is like, this is going nowhere. Like, why am I wasting my time? Because like, I'm not going to buy the manga or the light novel or whatever one it is. I'm just not going to waste my time watching the rest of this show.
Yeah, no, don't waste your time, guys. This is just take it for me. Pete dropped it. I gave it a 5. It's just painfully average. It's just go watch Oriski.
Yeah. It's just Orisuke is just so much better. I think I gave it a 4 and then dropped it after 7 episodes. So if I probably would have kept watching it, it probably would have been a 3 or a 4.
And anyone who scores something after dropping it doesn't deserve to have that score count.
Well,
so I gave it a 5.
That's you. That's not how I do my shows.
I think if you should finish a show before you score it. That's the way.
And I say do whatever you want. This is a free country, baby.
Nope. Happy Independence Day.
Yes, God bless. Thank you for your service.
Yes. So another show that Pete dropped.
Yep.
One that he dropped an episode in, not
2 episodes. I dropped it mid episode 2.
Okay. This is called Koikimo or Koi Toyubi something new mochi kimochi wari. It's basically Higehiro except even creepier somehow. It's the weeb girl who has friends in high school, and then the older brother of a friend of hers who's like a full-on businessman, like playboy, falls for her, and then stalks her and like grooms her into eventually becoming like, okay, maybe I can give you a chance someday, rather than, the really cool guy that she's friends with at school who has the same interests and same things that, same life goals, whatever you want to say, as her, the perfect match for her. Yeah, no, screw that guy. Let's go after the 30-year-old business guy who is just desperate and trying his best. I don't know, man. It's just,
I hated the episode. I think it was episode 1. It might have been episode 2, where he calls her and then she's like, "Please stop calling me." And then I think like he like they accidentally like run into each other, and it's like, I guess it's okay because he's hot. I'm like, if this dude was like an ugly dude, like everyone would just be like, this show's so fucking dumb. This is so creepy or whatever. But like, he gets a pass because he's hot, and I hate
He's hot and rich.
I hate that element. If he's so rich, why is he living with his parents still? I mean, it's Japan, it's whatever, but like
he's not. I think he visits his family.
I thought he lived with them. Okay, maybe I was wrong.
Well, I think he.
I'll be honest, Pat. I made 1.5 episodes and I dropped it, so like, I wasn't paying attention.
I'm pretty sure he lives on his own. But he, like, you know, you go home and visit your parents. You still have your room at your parents' house, right? Most of the time, right? Unless they turn it into a guest room. I don't know. My parents haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
I still live there though, so there's that too. But I think the worst character in the show, though, believe it or not, it's not the fucking creepy dude, the guy who's like, again, essentially stalking and harassing and grooming this poor high school girl who multiple times just tells him like, "Fuck off! I don't like. Leave me alone." Like, it's throughout the show.
This show should have been 13 minutes long.
Yeah,
this whole show, not even like an episode. This season should have been 13 minutes long. Hey, you're hot. You're creepy. Bye. End of the episode. End of the season. Boom.
Yeah, but no. So the worst character was actually the younger sister of the creepy dude, who is also best friends with the main girl, who like intentionally sets up situations where they end up
like
together,
encourages it, yeah,
and encourages the brother, encourages or gaslights the girl a little bit too. It's just like, God, do you not see what you're fucking doing? Like, holy shit! Like, she is so. Rio is her name. Terrible. That is terrible what she does.
Garbage.
She is manipulative, and you know why she gets away with it?
She's hot.
She's a hot blonde. Yeah, there you go. It's so dumb. God, we sound like such losers saying that, but that's.
I mean, we're reviewing anime. Like, let's be real. People should already know this by now.
I guess so, but like, no, but like, genuinely, that's what she's just. It's just, I don't get how this show is liked. Like, this show is a 7.21 on Mal.
Oh, I think I gave it a 3 and dropped it.
This show deserves nothing higher than a 5 on Mal. I gave it a 4. Again, it's just bad. It's not even like average. It's bad. It's animated okay, good OP, whatever.
OP's like, good. OP is good. I'll give it that.
Yeah, but like, how is this higher than Joran? Like, a whole point higher than Joran. I don't get it. This is, I guess it's because, again, anime's demographics. This might suit people, but fuck this show.
I was actually thinking about this. If I was 18, I bet I would maybe like this show, to be honest. I could see myself at like a younger age thinking that this show was actually kind of just like I don't know. I guess like that's just me thinking. I have no idea if that was the case, but I think like if I was like 18, I think I would have finished this show. I'll put it that way.
If I was 18 and like incelish maybe, but like, I don't know. How can you not look at what this guy is doing, even as a younger person, and imagining, well, like, I don't know. If I was sitting here and I was just, and this woman was coming on to me and was like stalking me, like this guy literally stalks her.
Oh yeah, like, absolutely, like, and harasses her.
That would, you may think, maybe when you're, I don't even think.
When but Pat, they're in love. Oh, but Pat, they're in love.
No, she.
I know, it's so dumb.
Off, I don't like you. Fuck off.
It's so dumb. I don't get it.
She says, "Die, creep," at one point in the show. Like,
good, he should.
Like, it's like, no, fuck this show, and especially when there's another person right there that is so much better off.
So much better.
You. Yeah, all right. Let's move on to another show that I'm probably gonna have to cover my ears at certain points.
I'll do this like not spoiler because like you already kind of know the premise. It's Vivy, combination of for broader terms. It's Terminator, iRobot, and I think those two is probably fine. I loved Vivy. Holy crap, this show caught me so off guard. Wit Studio is the GOAT. What an amazing show. The story sets place where you see these AIs kind of like lose control and essentially start genociding the human race. Vivy is like an advanced AI, I would put it that way for like broader terms. And she hooks up with this dude or this other robot who like shows her like what's going to happen and like, hey, we need to change the future. And so they have 100 years before this event happens to change the future. My biggest thing that I absolutely loved about this show is when they change the events that happen 10 years into the future, it affects the rest of the timeline. Not everything is static based off what they saw from the video. So when they thought something was going to happen, it didn't, because they already affected the timeline. I thought that was a great thing that people like don't do when it comes to time travel or stuff like that, like affecting the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect, that's the other third movie I was thinking of. Man, the animation's stunning. The music, incredible. The OP was, oh my god, the OP was so good. Vivy was one of those originals I think people are going to talk about for a long time. I think this is one of the best originals I've ever seen in my entire life. I almost gave it a 10. Almost. Few issues with the show that just like whatever. That like if we're doing decimals, it would be like a 9.5, but like because it's a 9.5, it's a 9, essentially. It's like the logic that we use, where I couldn't push it past a 10, but I would recommend Vivy to almost anybody. This is going to like win like animation of the year. The OP will be nominated. Vivy, I guess Diva will probably be like a best protagonist character in like a lot of these awards. I loved Vivy. 9 out of 10. I'd recommend it to almost everybody.
I think I would enjoy this show too, personally. I can't wait. It's this and 86. I'm both very excited to start these over the next couple weeks when, you know, the next season starts and it's basically just a Otome game and Kobayashi for me. You know, like that's all I'm gonna be watching. So yeah, I'm excited to start this because I've heard a lot of good things. And so, would you say it wraps up, or you think they're hinting at a next season? Or
I think it ended perfectly. Okay. There's people who want a second season. I thought it wrapped up great. I don't need any more. I thought it told a complete story in 13 episodes, and that's it. Vivy's great. It has like an 8.7 on Mal, and it's justified. It was a really, really good show.
Alrighty.
Let's get to our last one, the blockbuster. Yes. I think
second best anime of the season.
Depending on who you ask. This show caused so much drama in the anime community in the last week, for good reason. At one point, it was the #1 anime on Mal, and that's Fruits Basket's the final, or season 3. Man, what a show! This was one of the best conclusions to a story I've ever seen in anime. Every person's story that happened during Fruits Basket got wrapped up. We got the ending that I thought we were going to get, and it was even better. My biggest thing that I didn't realize, and this happened in like episode 13, was realizing the interpersonal like the interpersonal relationships that Honda created throughout this entire story, connecting everybody in the family, essentially, to create like this narrative in the story. I thought that was just an incredible piece of work of just storytelling and character. It was so good. I personally think that this is anime of the year right now. I thought this was near perfection. Season 3 was near perfection. Episode 11, I was watching episode 11 in the gym and I started crying. While I was riding an elliptical bike or whatever. Started crying.
Why would you do that to yourself? That's a terrible idea.
I didn't think that's what was going to happen, because I know a lot of people got super emotional during this show, and I never cried. It was emotional, but like it wasn't the type of emotions that like hit me. And then episode 11 hit me like a fucking truck, pun intended, or I guess hit me like a fucking car, pun intended. That's a bad joke. I don't know why I said that. It's such a bad joke. Oh,
like, actually, fuck you. Ooh, like, that's terrible.
Did I cancel myself? Ooh, that was a bad joke. Yeah, I apologize.
Like Zombieland Saga, where you can make a joke.
Yeah, like I apologize for that one. I hope people get my humor and know that I'm not like malicious or anything. But yeah, and we're getting a spin-off show of Toru's parents, which is so cool to look forward to. I don't think we've ever gotten that. Pat, what are your thoughts on Fruits Basket, the final?
Yeah, this felt like just a continuation of the second season to me, which I liked. I liked that. I'm glad it was only one core as well. I think that's all it needed. I didn't want it to because like to me the second season like kind of like twiddled its thumb to a little bit. It kind of like sat there and didn't really ramp up until the second half of the
Yep,
second
I
season.
agree.
So I'm glad this was one core. I don't know. Maybe it just hasn't fully hit me yet. I was very happy with the conclusion. Obviously, you kind of could see it coming because again, it's not like we're gonna go through this and then suddenly nope, Toru's like nope, she can't break the curse. Sorry, there we go. Go your separate ways. Someone dies. You know, like it's not like it's gonna end like that, right? I think it's I don't know. I'm still processing it. I think internally
Because you finished it today, right?
I finished it this morning. Yeah.
Okay.
And again, I'm super happy with how it ended. It was beautiful. I am surprised. I guess I'm not surprised because this as a series and as an IP is so much more popular and has so many more like demographics of fans than Zombieland Saga does because again there's the original Fruits Basket which the manga and then also the anime were staples in shoujo
Absolutely.
from like from people who are 20 years older than us grew up on it, right? And then also then of course we grew up watching it too because of that, and then again it's had 3 seasons worth of hype to build up to this point. So I think the surrounding the drama, at least the fact that it's at like a 9.09 right now and it's going up and down because people are dumb and
people are dumb, yeah.
like I don't know, like review bombing things, it doesn't work for one, or when it does work it gets adjusted, so it's really dumb to try to do it in the first place. But then I don't know, also people who think that this show when it was at like a 9.3 at the day after the episode released,
yeah, like 9.2 something. I think that was like what it was. It was like a few points higher than Brotherhood.
People can't be that dense and think that it's going to stay there. Like it's because I guarantee you when Brotherhood released, it probably was at like a 9.6 something, I bet. And then just because this is the nature of like statistical things like this, it's naturally gonna, especially at the day after the first episode, it's gonna be at its peak. It's almost
absolutely
going to be at its peak, and it's going to slowly trickle down because of the bell curve of a statistical thing like this, right? Where
that is correct.
Because, like, I don't know, just to get it out of the way, I gave it a 9. I didn't feel like this deserved a 10 to me. So, even though I loved this show, and at least as of right now, I'm giving it a 9, I'm bringing down its average, even though I'm talking about how great this show is, and I think it deserves, like, either a 9 or a 10. Me being so like anyone who is even close to my feeling or slightly less where they're like, oh, I liked it but it wasn't great or it wasn't like perfect, anyone who thinks that way is going to be bringing this score down
absolutely
now because it is above a 9. So like I don't know, I think people who are so obsessed with the fact that it was number 1, we got to get it down, or that are sitting there thinking on the contrary, it was number 1 until people started review bombing it. Like no, it
did get review bombed though. It absolutely did, but
I agree with adjusted.
I agree with your statement that it will reach its peak. The people who love Fruits Basket will finish it first. They'll rate it the highest. The score will go up, and then it will slowly start going down as it trickles throughout the series. And then anything that's not a 10 will lower the score.
Yeah, and look at the popularity too. So when we look at like again, we're going off Mal too, by the way.
Yes.
So I don't know what it's like on Analyst or the other sites.
I think it's still number 1 on AnyList.
But like. It's ranked number 4. It's ranked number 4 right now, right? Its popularity is 819. Like, as it becomes more popular or goes up that popularity score, the ranking is going to go down. The only shows, there's 2 shows that are like in the top 10, I think, of both. It's like Steins Gate and I think Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I don't even know if
AOT.
Oh, AOT. Okay, but again, that one though, even
I think they share pretty similar. Actually,
I think
to be honest,
I think that one's gonna go down as well. I think because like that one will just progressively continue to go down.
As it should.
That's up to interpretation. I agree that it should do, but of course I can't say though because I haven't seen that season. I don't think you have either, so who knows? Maybe it got.
I read it.
You read about it, yeah?
No, I read it.
What?
I read Attack on Titan.
The whole manga?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the manga, not the anime, though. So, but there we go.
They adapt the same things. The animations look nicer. Okay, it's the same story.
I don't know. Either way,
It's not a 9. I'll just put it that way. This is Fruit Basket talk, baby.
Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. Again, I think I might move it up eventually to a 10. I fucking love it.
I think 9's a very fair score because I overall gave the series a 9. I am. What was I? I'm 60 some episodes invested into these characters. I thought they wrapped up everything perfect. I loved the routes that they took to end these shows. I thought like the last end scene of episode 13 was brilliant. I love the fact that we got to see them as like elderly for like 10 seconds. See that they had a family, they have grandkids. It was a happily ever after story. They broke the curse. And it was more of just like Fruits Basket is a story about a group of people who are told that they are nothing more than pawns. They are used for this specific reason for the family. They're essentially they're just items. And it was like the story of them overcoming these trials of being their own person and accepting who they are. I thought was just incredible. I thought they did it just in the best way possible. And that's why I'm giving the season a 10 and like the series overall a 9.
Go ahead.
That's kind of just like my logic of thinking behind like how they concluded it, because like there was one way that I thought they could do it and they did it better than the thought that I was going to, and that was like the biggest reason why I gave it a 10.
Yeah, so I think it's the same way where for me I gave Origairu season 3 a 10.
Yep,
right?
same.
Like last year. But I'd say the series overall is like an 8 or a 9.
Yep, I absolutely agree.
I don't know what I could say. So yeah, I think that's fair. Again, I might bump this up to a 10, but I am solidly at a 9.
You should think about it.
I'm gonna think about it. I need more time to reflect. I might go back and watch a few episodes too, because I was in a very tired haze while I was watching like half of this show.
Yeah.
I have to say though, Arisa Utani, the tall blonde Yankee girl, whatever they call her, God, I loved her. She was great.
I love the whole cast. I don't know if I have like, I mean, Honda is by far my favorite character, but like I just loved like who she was as like a person. But other than that, I think the rest of the cast is just so well done. Especially like someone like Kyo, who I did not like season 1, and then by the end of season 3, I thought like his development through like his struggles were so well portrayed that I fell in love with his character. That's like why Fruits Basket is so good, why I felt it was so good.
Yeah, I loved it. Again, like you said, yeah, the whole cast is great. I don't know. It's really easy. We could, again, it's like it's similar as not at the same level as Zombieland for me, where I could literally talk for an hour about that show, but Fruits Basket's up there too. Like we can talk for a very long time.
Yeah, I think Zombieland is just like easier to talk about because of like just the style and nature of the show. This is just like a complete story, the conclusion to this story, and to me, that's just like what I was looking for in a final season, and I got it. And that's why I rate it so high. That's why I think it's close. So that we'll review it next for the summer when To Your Eternity is all done. But I think that is going to be a major front runner for Anime of the Year. I know you don't like it, Pat, but it has like usually I don't give 10s for a show like halfway through the season, and To Your Eternity is an easy 10. But Fruits Basket was also an easy 10. I loved it. They did everything that I was looking for in the show. I'm going to give it a 10.
I can't believe that Zombieland isn't a 10 for you. That's what's shocking to me.
It's like if we're doing decibels, it's a 9.5, and because it's 9.5, it's a 9.
What's holding you back from a 10 then? I'm curious.
So
I never said anything bad about it.
I actually had this conversation with Miles. Now for seasonals, when I watch seasonals instead of just like binging a show, if I don't like go out of my way to watch it, and that's like the difference between a 9 and a 10 for me. Where like something like Zombieland Saga, where like it was fine if I waited until I went to bed to watch Zombieland Saga. For me, when Fruits Basket it's like when Fruits Basket, especially the later episodes, as soon as it dropped, I watched it. And that's the difference for me now going forward, I think, between a 9 and a 10. Is that like must watch, I need it now. I need to consume this now. So that I think that's kind of like how I view 9s and 10s in terms of seasonals.
Okay.
I love Zombieland Saga, but like if you had to ask me which show would I want to rewatch, it's probably Zombieland Saga.
Right. Well, it's a lot easier to rewatch too than a heavy show like this for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think the Zombieland did heavy things as well without it.
I agree.
Being too heavy too. That's the best part. Again, another one of the best parts about that show. God damn it, man. Can we do a Zombieland Saga podcast? Like, fuck.
Hey, man. Hey, you never know. When season 3 drops, we'll definitely do it. But
yeah, we'll get Miles on that too. He's apparently started it. So
I'm happy for that. But Pat,
I'm so happy.
Pat, I think that's going to conclude our season review for spring. I wish I could have done this in 2 episodes so I could talk. Oh my god, I skipped 2 shows. I skipped 3 shows in my speed round. Holy crap! I am so dumb.
Did you?
Wow. I'm supposed to say it now. Here, I'll do this for the outro. I can't believe I can't even read my own handwriting. OddTaxi.
Yep.
Fuck it. I'm supposed to do a makeshift review right here, right now. OddTaxi. If you like Knives Out, you will love OddTaxi. OddTaxi was a great mystery show that we get in anime. It was so unique. We don't have shows like this in anime. OddTaxi was incredible. Yeah, speed round 2. If you're a fan of like Knives Out, mystery, fun, silly, like unique shows, OddTaxi is it. I gave it a 9. I loved it. Super Cub, one of my favorite slice of lives of all time. If you've ever been passionate about a specific topic, like anything, like a hobby, an author, a movie, a franchise, something like that. That's what Super Cub is. It's about people who are falling in love and changing their life based off of like the freedom of being on like this motorcycle or moped type of thing. Loved it. 9 out of 10. And the last one was Farewell, My Dear Cramer, which was the girls soccer anime. I thought this show was going to be hot garbage because of the animation. Turns out the cast was incredible and made up for everything about the show. Too bad the animation was dog shit. I gave it a 7. Okay, that ends the speed round 2. I can't believe I missed those 3, especially Super Cub. Oh my god, I'm an idiot, but we made out for it. Pat, do you have any final words before we head out?
Great season, but like, why the fuck are there not more people talking about Zombieland, bro? I don't get it. I can't be the only one that's this high on the show. I see, because like this to me is now a classic. I think it's like a classic. Like, because like I loved Origaru, but it's not a staple. I mean, and I guess it's a staple.
I think it's an absolute staple.
It's a staple in the rom-com thing, but would I call it a classic? Would I call it like an instant classic? No.
I would. I would.
I don't think I would. I don't think you have to watch it to say that you're like a big anime culture, like not culture, but you know what I mean, like the
for that genre.
Not even for that genre, but more for like that time in anime, right? Where like a classic. So Bebop is a great example of the.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Right? This I think is the epitome of 2020 and 20 or this the late teens, early 20s of this genre of anime, of what anime is right now. I think it is a classic. I can't believe more people aren't talking about this show, because holy fuck.
Hey, Pat, that brings up a good point. If you are a fan of Zombieland Saga and you want to talk about more, you should join our Discord and talk to Pat about Zombieland Saga.
Please do. I need more people.
Like, links to the socials in the description below. You can also follow us on Twitter if you want to stay up to date on the podcast. But we have a very active Discord, and Pat is looking for some Zombieland love.
Yeah, come talk to me about why Yugiri was incredible, and like, I don't know, find me a woman like Yugiri that is willing to die for me like that, you know, like it's incredible. It's beautifully done. I can't speak enough. Okay, we've talked about it so much. Go.
We have talked about it, so
yeah.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much. If you like the podcast, the best way to support us is if you like, comment, subscribe, leave a review. It helps us grow as a podcast. It helps us get the word out. It helps us it gives me motivation to continue making content. Not gonna lie. This is also, I said it last time in our other review, this is our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Technically, it was June 29th is the 2-year anniversary, but Pat, you've been around for a long time. 1.5 years.
1 3/4.
Been around for a very long time. So Pat, I want to say thank you for continuing to be like my main co-host, helping me whenever I need it. So thank you. Also shout out to our wonderful community, whether it's through Discord or Twitter. I mean, we're going to Miles's wedding because of this podcast.
Yeah, I can't wait. Oh my god, his name's not even Miles. Wait,
dude, you broke. Oh my god, are you breaking the fifth wall right now? Oh my god.
Well, the fifth?
The fifth wall, yeah. You're going through Discord and now you're going through this stream. I don't know.
Well, I didn't say what his real name is, but yeah, it's crazy. Our friend Miles is not Miles. Or we found out. Wow.
What a spoiler. Right? But it's just really cool. I made this because I wanted to talk. Made this podcast just because I wanted to talk about anime. And I didn't know that we would have a community and I would have friends and I would meet people like this. So I'm really happy that I did this. I'm happy for the 2 years. I'm hoping for at least 2 more years of this and just continue making fun anime content and for you guys to join along with us. I mean, our Discord is so active. You should join it if you want to talk anime. Even if you don't like what we talk about, just come on in and just say whatever you need. We're very open and welcome. So thank you for joining us. In 2 Mondays from now, so that would be, let me check the old calendar. That is the 12th of July. We have Watch Club. We will be reviewing some anime called Pet that I dropped mid-episode 1, and now I have to watch the whole thing. So
yeah, that's gonna be really
if you want to hear us review shitty anime, join us in 9 days for our Pet review. But I just want to say thank you again. Thank you for 2 years. Here's to year number 3, and we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.